Hi everyone, it's Sam, NFTstatistics, and this is your Proof Daily NFT Countdown. It's our last NFT Countdown from Oaxaca, Mexico. Fourth one, but what a good time. Well, how awesome to just get away from home, do something different, see a new place. It's been great. Today we're going to talk about the Sotheby's auction coming up, Nike partnering with EA Sports, a few art sales. Let's get right into it, starting off with a quick market overview. Volumes were pretty much flat on the day. Unique buyers down a little bit. Remember, we had a pretty nice jump in buyers yesterday and kind of retreated a bit from that today. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, and sometimes I do surveys or polls from my Twitter, and they give pretty interesting results because, you know, all of NFT community is kind of congregated on Twitter. And I said, when was the first time you bought an NFT? And this survey, I'm not going to lie, this was an alarming survey. Only 15% of the people who responded said that they have bought their first NFT in 2022, 2023. 66% bought it in 2021, and then 18%. So 82% of the people had bought it in 2021 or earlier. To me, what this just says is that there is just so little onboarding going on into NFTs. Only 2% had bought in 2023. Now, these are not scientific surveys, but just speaks to one of the issues that we're all dealing with, which was how do you get more people into the space? Obviously, any space has churn and people leaving, so you need people to come in to keep the community vibrant and to keep there a lot of energy there. And it does feel like we're losing that. You know, again, that was subjective, kind of non-scientific, but if I look at this chart, this shows how many new wallets have bought their first NFT. This is trailing 30-day, and over the past 30 days, it's been just 25,000. You know, at the peak, it was almost 250,000. So not a great chart here. And I think this is something we all got to figure out is this a space? What can we do to make this more attractive to more people, to make it a more interesting space for a lot wider range of folks? Getting back to prices, getting back to your regularly scheduled programming. Large cap index was up slightly, had some strength in Coda, in Doodles, in Azuki. Azuki just kind of keeps ripping, and then weakness in Cool Cat's Gutter. In terms of mid-cap index, this fell a little bit. It was down about 4%. I think the reason's pretty clear. Weakness in Pepin. You know, Pepin has become a pretty big component in this index and has been up so much. It gave a little bit of that back yesterday. Here you can see, you know, the floor went up to about 1.1. Now it's down to about 0.9. Still a pretty high floor. Not going to lie. I mean, this is still up a lot, but any huge rally often gets given back a little bit. Also wanted to touch on Oni One Force, one of the top projects, I'd say, again, in the mid-cap index. Shows a little bit of weakness here, but, you know, again, that's just on the back of a lot of strength. They announced a whole bunch of stuff over the past few days, did a Spaces, talked about their comeback tour. A few of the things they did. One is they inscribed 7 original characters onto Bitcoin. That will be the main characters of their comic series to be launched this year. Secondly, they are working with Thea 3D to launch the Enclave into Fortnite, Fortnite Creative 2.0. I believe, I'm not a Fortnite player, but I believe this is a Only One branded type of, I don't even know. I'm going to embarrass myself. So I'm not going to say more. Fortnite people, tell us in the comments what that is. They're going to be launching comic books that are going to be previewed at this year's Comic-Con. Another comic book, we talked about comic books with Spirit DAO yesterday, and then off-chain points released with Horizon Labs. I know a lot of what Horizon Labs deals with point systems and coins, stuff like that. So that is going to be starting for Oni One Force. Here is an image of the 7 characters that were launched onto Bitcoin. They say it's the first anime on Bitcoin. Like I said in a show a while ago, everyone always says it's the first of anything on Bitcoin. I don't know what to read into it, but again, congratulations for the firstness of whatever this is, anime. They're pretty cool though. I mean, I think these human size things are pretty interesting for Oni One Force. In terms of our projects, again, just kind of back to where we were with so little volumes. Only 4 projects did more than 5 ETH of volume in art blocks. Looking a little bit at it, a Chromie Squiggle, one sold for about 11 ETH. We had a Meridian for 8.25 ETH. Now, Meridian, that floor price is just kind of slowly creeping higher. It's just very thinly listed. Not a whole lot of buys, but it does seem to be kind of creeping a little bit higher. This is a Singularity by Hideki Tsukamoto, and that sold for 3 ETH. Pretty cool. I believe that's well above floor. And then a Genesis by Claire Silver sold for 8 ETH. Another one sold for 8 ETH. So 2 sales for Claire, raising her floor price to 13 ETH. Second thing to talk about, EA Sports and dotSwoosh. I thought this was a pretty interesting one. 2 big brands. Neither of them are super NFT. I guess Nike sort of is, but kind of 2 just big Web2 brands partnering on the NFT side. Here is the tweet from EA Sports with a little handshake. New immersive experiences to unlock brand new levels of customization within the EA Sports ecosystem. Also, this is a quote from EA Sports. They said, working with dotSwoosh will bring creativity and self-expression to the forefront for fans as they connect, compete, and share their love for sport. Now, I think this is kind of interesting because I think with collectibles, you generally want a place to show them off, and we all use our PFPs. We show them off on Twitter, other social media platforms. But with sports digital goods, I feel like EA Sports is the perfect partner. If you can somehow integrate kind of your NFTs that you own, your digital goods onto EA Sports, what better place do you have to integrate kind of to flex whatever you collect? So I think in principle, it's a pretty interesting partnership. Also from dotSwoosh, they basically said that does it for the OF1 collection, because they also just finished with their OF1 collection where they were selling those digital boxes, shoe boxes that they sold. They sold them for about $20. So they said more than 50,000 people participated. So presumably made over $100,000 on that. Said that they will have a special announcement coming, which we just saw. The special announcement was the EA Sports thing, but also said they're going to recap all the data from the shoe boxes that they sold, the digital goods. So that'll be pretty interesting to see their recap, what those numbers ultimately look like. They have done a couple reveals of what the boxes will ultimately reveal into. They've done them on their Twitter. I put a few of them here. I think that one on the left is their Halloween shoe and a couple other ones. So kind of cool stuff there from dotSwoosh. Third thing to talk about, Sotheby's to auction more Grails. They've been talking about this over the past couple of days. I just kind of wanted to recap what we've seen from them here from our friends over at NFT Now. Basically said that they're going to roster 37 NFTs, making it, as they put it, the largest ever live auction of digital art. And here we heard from Mike Bohanna basically saying that the goal here isn't just to have a bunch of amazing generative art, or I shouldn't say amazing, but some of the highest value generative art, but they wanted to start to bring in a wider range of artists that are in this collection. 3AC bought a ton of NFTs, a ton of generative art across the board, from stuff that's done better, stuff that's done worse. Of course, the keynote piece is the Goose, this Ringers, which 3AC or Vincent Van Gogh, when he was working with them with Starry Night, bought for 1,800 ETH, which at the time was worth $5.6 million, the second highest Ringer sale of all time. For the estimate, they put $2 to $3 million, 1,060 to 1,580 ETH. So this is a pretty punchy price. I mean, it's not nearly where it was, but it's still a punchy price. I commented that on Twitter, and a couple people pointed out that's because they already have bidders. Like, they wouldn't put this high a price if they didn't already have bidders. One of the things we know about the way they did their first series and clearly did their second series outside of this piece is that they always way lowball the estimate. So I thought this was a pretty aggressive estimate. Looking at a couple of the other art blocks, some of the other top ones, this one on the left is a perfect spectrum chromie squiggle. They estimated at 64 to 96 ETH. The last three sales have all been over 200 ETH, so clearly very conservative there. And then here you have a uniform micro black and white Fidenza, total Grail Fidenza, again, 64 to 96 ETH. That's $120,000 to $180,000. And the last five micro uniform sales were all above 200 ETH as well. So clearly well below the range, but some really cool stuff being auctioned off here. Just looking at a few of the other pieces, a construction token by Jeff Davis. The estimate here is 3 to 5K. That's below the current big collection bid on OpenSea. They have an elevated deconstruction. They say the estimate is $12,000 to $18,000 when the OS bid is 31,000 USDC. OS bid, collection bid for any of them. So clearly, and that's the OS bid is always well below where the fair market is. So these guys are like at 50%. A CryptoPunk for $48,000 to $60,000, and the Blur bid for like 80 of them is at $94,000. And then another piece from Hideki here for $2,000 to $3,000, where the OS bid is at $4,500. So a lot of really cool art. I'd go check out the Sotheby's page. 37 really cool NFTs. Obviously the estimates are super low. I'm sure they're all going to blow away the estimates. Why do they do that? Because they want to be able to have these headlines. Here you can see a headline. Sotheby's first sale of NFTs from 3AC's collection pulled in a stunning 2.4 million, obliterating estimates. Sotheby's Metaverse here talks about how the autoglyph sold, smashing the high estimates. So these estimates are really just there so they can put in these high momentum tweets, these high momentum articles. And you know what? I think it works well. It makes it feel like NFTs are hot. When they publish these things, this is one of the best kind of publicity vehicles we have for NFTs. So more power to them. Last thing to talk about, a few notable sales. First, this Bored Ape Yacht Club Hip Hop King's Crown sold for 116 WETH. The buyer is this guy on the right, King Degen. You can see his PFP there. I guess he likes the King Crown. I think in this market, that is a punchy price. We've seen King's Crown NFTs sell in like the 80 to 100 range. Obviously, the hip hop adds to it, but still pretty punchy price. But if you like an NFT, go buy it. So congrats to King Degen on that. Here's a piece from Die With The Most Likes. I love that name. What a great name. But here's a piece from him called After the Streetlights Stopped Grieving, which sold for 12 ETH. If we look at a few of Die with the Most Likes prior top sales, he's had a lot of sales in that 6 to 12 ETH range, but I believe this is really towards the high end of the range. So congrats to Die with the Most Likes for that. He had an interesting poem under it. I'd recommend go reading it all, but here's an excerpt. That one winter, the streetlights bled what glow they had left into our hands instead of the night sky, and we'd feel the regret it held and the relief in dying or succumbing to the inevitable. There's a lot going on here. Go read it, see what you think for yourself. I wasn't really a poetry specialist in school. It's tough for me, but go read it, see what you think. I found it kind of interesting. And then lastly, The Future Will Be Tokenized by Mr. Richi. This piece sold for 3.5 ETH. Here is a tweet from Mr. Richi or Mr. Rishi. Sorry, Mr. Richi, if I got it wrong, but my guess is it's one of those two. He said, here he says, The future will be tokenized, just collected by Flying Beagle on Super Rare. I am more than honored to know you will be collecting my art. This piece was created as an urge to rebel and keep creating no matter what we can. So we continue building this space for all the artists that will come eventually. So glad this piece is recognized. So pretty cool stuff. Mr. Rishi's had a lot of sales kind of in this 2 to 4 ETH range. This is a great sale for him at 3.5 ETH. Congrats for that. That is all from me today. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're having a good day. We'll be back on Monday with another show. Give us a like below, subscribe to the channel, and tell us what you think. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.